on Game Line, longtime Rocket League player Mitch Fresh Bottom Barrett surprisingly retires to play this game? And later, we find out what happens when you fart in space. All that on a new episode of Game Line. Good evening and welcome to Game Line. I am tonight's host, Phoenix Paul. George Longdonger has the night off due to penile extension surgery. Tonight we begin with a surprising story out of the esports world where legendary Rocket League player Mitch Fresh Bottom Barrett has hung up the octane in pursuit of a new career in a game no one thought he could transition to. Can he do it? Let's go to Steve for this report.
So we've got all of my SAM regional awards here, MVPs and medals for winning the regionals. And then we've got some high school awards, including last place in the spelling bee. I couldn't even spell the word I. You know, the letter.
His name is Mitchell Barrett, but you may know him better as the Fresh Bottom. He was once one of the top pros in his esport, and was part of one of the greatest moments in Rocket League history. So back then I went by Yan. It was the quarterfinals of the RLCS World Championships and my team Furia was playing Moist Esports. Many say this was one of the greatest LAN series of all time. It was certainly the greatest one I ever played in.
The series went back and forth, and culminated to a Game 7 that looked like was going Moist Esports' way. Until...
It was absolute chaos just getting that tying goal. And we were ready for overtime. But Moist kept the ball up.
With Vatira in midfield, Yan intercepts. Yan wins the challenge, but Vatira helps. He keeps it away. Moist did not let this drop earlier on. Now they're up against it. Furia!
It was my greatest moment.
it would be the last time that Mitch would see a live event.
You didn't make another live event. Why do you think that is? We peaked. We can never recapture that spark. It had nothing to do with myself, Caillou, or King Card. We didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes it just happens.
Mitch would play through the winter split of the 2022-23 season and then announce his retirement from the game.
Unfortunately, I retired the same day as the GOAT Turbo Pulsar. I mean, that guy has 4 World Championship titles and has shown us his Swedish butt. I can't compare to that.
Mitch would go on to content creation, which went well at first.
Park. I think it was Stevens Park. Whoa.
Excuse me. I don't know if the mic picked that up.
But something wasn't right.
You missed competing. I did. I was asked by Alpha Kep and Turbo to join them on Turbo's Cheeks. They weren't satisfied with Rizzo on their team because he sucks, so they secretly tried to recruit me. I played in some scrims with them, but I just wasn't feeling it, so I declined. So now the man known as the Rocket League Fart King was at a crossroads. He still wanted to compete but didn't know what to play. And then it happened. On September 27th, 2023, Counter-Strike 2 was released. He figured if he was going to play in another esport, he should get in on the ground up. There was just one problem. Counter-Strike was a KBM game. And Mitch hadn't played a KBM game since the original Counter-Strike in the late 1990s. And Counter-Strike had really not changed since the 1990s. So he got to practicing, and then the call came. So G2 Esports was looking for a fifth for their CS2 team. I got to know their organization back in the RLCS days, so they brought me in. And so after weeks and weeks of scrims, it was time for his first event. Steve, I have worked my entire life for this moment. I am ready to dominate this game. Let's do this.
Damn it. No way!
G2 was swept 13-0, an unprecedented ass-kicking. Mitch went 0 for 13 on kill-death ratio and died faster than any player in the history of the esport. He only hit one person with a bullet, and it was his teammate one round during the buy phase. No one in the history of the game has sucked worse than Mitch did that day. G2 immediately dropped him before players had even left the game.
You might think that Mitch was embarrassed, but no. Look, I gave it my all. It may not look like I did from the tape, but I did. You were absolute hot ass. I was. So what's next for Fresh Bottom? Well, let's just say he's not ready to give up on the esports dream just yet. I think I may try League of Legends next, though I'll need to find out what that game actually is and where to download it. Thank you, Steve, for that report. Great as usual. And now for our final story of the day. What happens when you fart in space? Alright, here we go.